Hello, everybody. How are you doing this fine evening? I hope you're doing well. I'm doing well as well. And today we're going to talk to Toby. So here is Toby. Let's see, I need to press the right button. And here he is. Toby, how are you doing this fine evening? It's evening for you as well, right?
It is actually.
It is nice.
I am hearing you multiple times.
Sorry, come again. Um, So it's really nice to see you and to have you here. I see that Jimmy is also in the chat saying good morning. I mean, where are you, Jimmy? What's this? This is very early to say, late to say good morning. And Toby, yeah, we were talking just before the live stream. Sorry?
Just a second. I'm sorry. I was hearing you like 3 times.
Yeah, that's too
I
much.
had you opened and I had you open the multiple browser tabs here, and I had to close them all out.
Yeah, it's fine. like for me, I had the same thing earlier, right? That I had you open in 3 different browsers, and I was like, all right, having one Toby is enough. Having you 3 times is a little bit too much, I guess. But everything is okay now. You can hear me still fine, not distracted by
Everything
other.
is fine now. I just want to make sure I also have the chat in front of me, just so I can experience the joy you're experiencing.
Yeah, I don't know how active I can be in looking into the chat today because I want to really have a conversation with you and trying to understand how things are. And just before the live stream, yeah, maybe we can start off with a little bit introduction of yourself. Because who is Toby? What do you do? Who are you? We see you on the YouTube channel sometimes, but maybe get a little bit to know you more. So, who's Toby?
I am a web developer. I used to think of myself as an internet entrepreneur, but I realized before you become an entrepreneur, you really do have to build something. As I wasn't building nothing, I decided to call myself a web developer in the meantime, and at some point in the future, I may take on the other title. But for now, just a web developer and also an educator, because as it happens, I started a YouTube channel after multiple naggings from my wife and others.
So you were persuaded by your wife to set up a YouTube channel?
Yes, my lovely wife. And she was very, very helpful. And although I didn't want to show my face initially because I don't like all the attention that comes with having to have my face online, but I had to do it so I can, enjoy beautiful opportunities like this to have a live stream with other YouTubers and talk about stuff. So I run a YouTube channel that goes by my name, and I teach WordPress, dynamic WordPress to be specific, and majorly the CrocoBlock tools and advanced custom fields, WordPress in general, anything that has to do with building dynamic websites, bricks, Elementor, stuff like that. That's what I do.
Nice to hear. I see that your lovely wife is here as well. She says, "Who's Toby? He's my husband."
As expected.
Take care of your wife, says. Nice of you to join. Hello, Mark from Wiki Design. Nice to have you here. Little brother Brandon O'Connell as well. Nice to have you all here. Thanks for joining. And it's nice that your wife actually persuaded you to do a live stream. Why were you reluctant in doing that before?
Just because I don't like the attention, and besides that, I like to think of myself as a very introverted extrovert. I like to say things, but in the background. I don't like to be in the face of anything. I don't want to be in the front of anything. I want to be in the background all the time. So I don't like this. I really don't. but I'm enjoying it somehow.
So let's try to make it more fun of enough. So you would rather be the man behind the camera than be in front of it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Maybe you could convince your wife to stand in front of the camera, and then you do the shots. And she needs to read the script.
Good idea.
My little brother says I get that as well. That sitting in front of the camera can be very scary. And as a fellow YouTuber, I can really affirm that it really is. It's hard to sit in front of the camera when you're introverted. And what are the things that help you out, that makes you feel a little bit comfortable? Because you managed to get on the live stream, you managed to do that as well for your own videos. How do you do that? What are your tricks that that you could share?
My drive, two things. One, I love to teach. I absolutely love to teach. I don't like to hoard knowledge. So if I know something, I want to share. If I don't share it, it means I'm not in the right frame of mind, or maybe not able at the time to share it, but I want to share. So it just drives me. So whether or not I want to face the camera, I have to share it, because especially if it's something exciting, I want to share it. And for most people, when they do get to learn about this, they're very, very thankful. And that also does keep me going, because when I read the comments in the comment section, lots of people saying they really enjoyed that, or they gained value from it. It's good. It feels good. Very, very good. But the amount of time put in to actually put out the video is something else. That's a different story.
Ooh, I wonder how much time do you take on on starting with the video idea pops in your head, and then creating the video itself? How much time goes and then uploading it, right? There's also a little bit of that, and maybe a little bit of marketing done that you share it. How much time goes between the whole process?
Well, when an idea pops to mind, usually I just put it down inside of Keep Notes, if you're familiar with the Keep Notes app. So I just write inside of Keep Notes and store it there until I have the opportunity to record. And usually, if I'm recording a video of like 30 minutes, I mean, if the video is 30 minutes, the video that comes online is 30 minutes, you should expect I spend nothing less than 4 or 5 hours to actually start preparing the page or whatever that I need to show, and then hit the record button, and then actually do the recording, and then edit it and get it out. So like 5 hours.
5 hours for 30 minutes.
Yes. I have a video on my channel that's an hour plus long. That video took me 2 days.
That's a very long time.
It took me 2 days of non-stop editing. Like I was editing for 2 days to get out just a little over an hour. And thankfully, it's the most performant video on my channel. So it's okay. It's fine. I was well rewarded for the time spent. How about you, though? How long do you spend?
It was a very long time since I did the tutorial kind of thing, right? Because now I've been looking into the page builder kind of thing, and I can push that out really quickly, because in the live stream I look at the builder itself, and that takes about an hour, and then I know what the talking points I need to hit. Just like the Build Darius video, that was done in like 20-30 minutes perhaps, and it could cut down all the pieces that are not necessary. But it is because I've done it recently that I immediately can record a video about that. If you're talking specifically about YouTube tutorials, those take a long time. Usually I have 4 hours in the evening, and then that's it. So 4 hours for a 10-minute video, or maybe a 30-minute video, depends on how much stuff I need to share and need to explain. So I think
And its
you're way more
complexity too.
efficient. Sorry?
And its complexity
And it's
and the
complexity.
complexity of what you have to share.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a lot more complex. Sometimes it's pretty simple, it's straightforward. But I totally relate. I totally relate.
Yeah. Let's see. Don't really don't know how much time he spends, but I love that he still gets it done. It's nice to have such a supportive wife, Toby.
She does have her
Okay.
own YouTube channel too, and she is chatting from that YouTube channel right now. However, I don't know when last she uploaded a video on that YouTube channel, so I'm calling her out live
Ooh.
after all the pushing.
Putting some fire at home. uh, nice.
Thank you.
It's nice to have both have the same interest as well, that you can share your experience, and also you have to call me out. She's calling you out, but you can share the experience that you have and also see how you can grow together with that. So I guess it's nice. I mean, I don't know if it is. Is it a nice thing to have both doing the YouTube stuff?
Yes, and also in terms of work in general, it's pretty nice because she's a UI designer, a web developer. I don't know nothing about UI design, or maybe I do, but not so much. So she does mostly the user interface design. I do the development, and we work together, and we work entirely from home. So it's our everyday life, right?
Yeah.
But
Wow.
having to have a YouTube channel is also an added advantage.
Yeah. Uh, I can also see that it can be tough that you have your free time, your work time, and also the YouTube time together. How do you prevent things happening that uh, will escalate, so to speak?
Okay, I'm not sure I understand. How do you mean?
Well, I can imagine if you're doing so much things together that you get into fights or whatsoever. Did you have any fights yet, or is it all good?
Actually, it's all good. Actually,
Ah,
it's all good. We
nice.
we were friends for a long time. I think we should be 10 years as friends.
Oh,
Maybe next
congrats.
year, but we've been married for just a year. So yeah, we've known ourselves for too long, so we kind of like understand ourselves like in and out. So we hardly ever get into any fights whatsoever. Plus, we're both, I would say, and I would like to think, very, very understanding. So when we have to do things relating to work and some things are not just working out, we drop everything and we walk away. We come back another day and begin from there. It's like that.
No room for fights here. She also says so. That's
Yeah,
lovely to
yeah,
hear
we have
that
just
you're.
one room.
Yeah. So put the fights in no room, and then everything is okay. Nice. It's really nice that you have found each other and can do those kind of things. Um, Earlier, you were talking about you are unable to keep knowledge for yourself, right? You want to share it. And one of the questions I asked, what are things you are proud of? And you said, my knack of for the pursuit of knowledge. What are some examples that you can give that really where your pursuit of knowledge really shines?
Okay, I can explain it this way.
Mm-hmm.
So I started working with I started in the WordPress world about 8, 9 years ago, thereabouts.
Almost the same time as you met your wife.
Yeah. Now that I think of it, that's correct.
Coincidence?
Okay, so I started in the WordPress world around that long ago, and at the time I didn't have enough resources to pursue web development. And by resources, I mean like I needed, a good computer, stuff like that to actually be able to build websites, right? So I worked with what I had, what was available to me at the time. But what I would do, just to put the pursuit of knowledge into context here, what I would do is that I would take a jotter, a physical jotter,
Mm-hmm.
and I would write a list of plugins. Now, as I find the plugins, I would write them on that physical jotter, and I would take notes of what each plugin does. And I did this for thousands, literally, of plugins. Thousands. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And I know it's surprising. I have that jotter somewhere inside of this house, somewhere. I would write those plugins, and as I write each of them, I would take note of what each one does, right? And I would promise myself that one day in the future, I'm going to test it out, right? Even though I didn't have the tools to actually do test it out at the time. And I succeeded in testing most of the plugins, one by one. So there is hardly a popular WordPress plugin you would mention in the WordPress repository right now, and you would say, "Hey, do you know that plugin? Do you know what it does?" And I would say, "No, there is hardly any plugin like that." there, there, if you mention just one plugin, as far as it's a popular plugin, or at least it's known by at least maybe 10,000 people, I probably would know what that plugin does. I probably have tested it out too. And that's just because I love to do it. I love to understand how things work. And then when I do understand it, I try to translate that knowledge into something that is bite-sized, very small bits and pieces of understandable education for others, right? So if it's too complicated, I sit for hours on end sometimes and understand it. And once I understand it and I truly get it, then I try to pass that knowledge to someone else as simply as possible. It's my aim to just get all the complicated stuff in my head and then pass it out as simply as possible. So that's where the pursuit of knowledge comes into play. I like to know everything. There's Figma, even though I'm not a UI designer, I use Figma, even though when there was Adobe XD, the Adobe XD I think is no longer in use right now. I try to learn how to use that. I use CorelDRAW, Photoshop, most of these tools, and they help. Those things help. Because at some point in the future, you would find out that you actually do need that knowledge, and that knowledge can assist you in getting things done. I used to think that it was imposter syndrome, which is just a fancy name for, are you worth what you're trying to charge a client? Are you worth that? So because of that, I don't know whether I'm trying to solve my imposter syndrome by learning new things. So, and some people would say, well, the imposter syndrome only comes when you're an imposter. And I don't believe that. I believe you can have imposter syndrome and you're not an imposter. You actually are knowledgeable and you know what you're doing. But sometimes that pursuit of knowledge, even though that's where I shine, is also my downfall.
Yeah, yeah. It's the other side of the coin, right? When you're trying to get as much knowledge in and really are pursuing it, you know how much knowledge you don't have, and then the other side of the coin is just being aware that you have so much you don't have so much knowledge as well.
Right.
So
Right.
so yeah, I do understand that, and I can
Yeah.
also relate to that since I've been working for a month now at a company where I'm a WordPress specialist, and I really had imposter syndrome because before that I've always worked as a UX designer, so I really can relate to how that you are not specifically imposter, but you feel like an imposter because you know that you don't know a lot of things.
Right. And the more you try to know, the more you realize you don't know nothing.
You know nothing. You feel like Jon Snow, I guess, right? From Game of Thrones.
The moment you decide you really know a lot and you try to know more, you realize you know nothing.
There's always something you can try to know more about, right? So, yeah.
Very true.
And that's really, really nice. How you started out with writing down the plugins and trying to memorize them. And how does that look nowadays? I mean, you have access to better internet, and a computer, right, and a camera, because we are seeing your face right now. So, how was that journey from the time that you wrote down the plugins until now, when you're sitting here and during a live stream?
Okay, so I'll tell you. I actually did not start building websites as my first professional journey. I actually am a trained accountant. I have a BSc in accounting, and it means therefore that I studied the wrong thing in school, if I if I can say that. So yeah,
It's about the same, right? It's about numbers and abstract code that you want to make sense out of it.
right. I actually thought that accounting was about mathematics because I used to love mathematics a lot. And here's where I'm going. I want to take you through my journey from writing plugins all the way to teaching.
All right, awesome.
Where was I? I'm an accountant. I studied accounting for 4 years and have a BSc in accounting. During which time I was doing other things, such as working in the office as an assistant to someone else while in school. And that kind of like gave me access to the computers that I didn't have access to at home, right? Right. I could have access to computers in many places, right? In school and in certain places, even back at home, but not my personal computer, right? That I could work with. So while I was in school, I was working as an assistant, and of course, that made me have the opportunity to constantly be typing and get very, very used to using the computer and doing a lot of stuff, right? I could dabble a bit in WordPress at the time too, but WordPress was nowhere near what it is today. Nowhere near.
Right? It's a little bit different.
A little bit different. So at some point, I left web development for a while and I delved into writing. And that's because I loved to teach, as I said before. And the way I thought was the best way to pass information was to actually write articles, blogs. So I would write blogs about any to everything, right? So while I was writing, I could, realize from the attention that the writing online was getting that many people appear to be loving what I wrote. And I thought that was good. I mean, I could be a full-time writer. I was wrong, as you can tell right now in the present.
There has some changes.
I did writing full time at some point. I was ghostwriting for a number of people. I entered into a writing competition, and it was an international competition from multiple people all over the world. I think about 400 people from different nationalities, and I came first place, right?
Wow, congrats. That was nice.
Thanks. But that was where I knew I could be going into web development, because now I had the resources I needed to get what I needed to actually start my web development journey because of that competition, right? So I did the competition. I won the prize. The prize helped me to get into web development, which is what I truly loved. And then I went on with building websites in general, and I built my first website. It was absolutely embarrassing. You shouldn't see it. I have actually rebuilt it.
Nice. You should show it sometime.
So yeah, and just in the very recent 4 to 5 years has my art actually been, or should I call it science of building websites, actually been really, really improved. So I could call myself a professional for the last 4 to 5 years thereabouts, but the first 3 years were not so much, right? So this is where I am. I explored a lot of plugins. I got to work for two web development agencies. Um, and yeah, I got to understand how things work, and that's how I started sharing my knowledge on my YouTube channel too.
Wow, what a journey! Starting out in the library as an assistant, and then sharing your knowledge to people, then having already a little bit of content creator in you, right? When you're trying to write articles and blogging, and also become first in a international. I mean, what? I'm very curious also what kind of articles you have written in the past. If you have any place where we can read upon that, that would be very nice
Okay.
to see how you got started. So it doesn't have to be right now, it can also be in the
Okay.
future,
Sure.
but we would love to see it. Also, your first journey creating your website. I mean, was that also the trigger that you thought, all right, this is really what I meant to do? I wanted to be building websites. It's something that you fell in love with immediately. Can I say that?
Not really. The reason why I wanted to build dynamic websites specifically is the fact that it's a sad story. It's a little bit of a sad story too.
Hmm.
I lost my aunt, right? And I'm Nigerian. I live in Nigeria. I'm based in Nigeria. So, and if you know anything about Nigeria, there are places, lots of places within Nigeria where you don't have very quick access to healthcare, right?
Hmm.
So my aunt actually lost her life because of the fact that it was a little too late for them to find a hospital to treat her problem. And
Oh.
when they did find the hospital, it was already too late. She had to be placed on a dialysis machine um, so that it can, clean her kidneys and stuff. She later actually did lost her life. But I thought, what about if there was a directory of websites online that Nigerians have access to? They can go there, it will be free, and they can go there and just click on their current location, or just let the browser find the current location, and it's going to show them all of the hospitals just around them, right? So I thought, okay, maybe I can do that. Maybe I can build something like that and, just put it out there for free.
Hmm.
But again, there are certain constraints that come with having that idea in mind and actually having to implement it, especially here. And constraint like what? An example, a very good example of such constraint is the fact that there is not as much data as there is in other countries.
Hmm.
Data such as the records of the hospitals, their updated locations, stuff like that. Of course, there's a directory online that is on a website that's almost unusable for a regular person. So I thought, why don't I just, try to partner with them, get the data out of there, build a very clean looking interface, and then have people be able to use this so that they can find a hospital, especially when they need one very quickly, right? So I thought about doing that. I haven't still been able to accomplish that till date. I have gotten
Wow.
the domain name. I have tried to get it to work. I have emailed the government because the government actually does control that aspect. It's very, very highly regulated because it has to do with hospital information, and they don't want, lots of wrong data out there on a certain website. So I think they're just a little hesitant to work with any private person to actually get that done. But I wish they actually agreed to work with me on that. I have sent a number of emails, no response whatsoever. I wish they respond to that. If they do, and they kind of provide me with something like an API that I can fetch all of that information from, then very easily I'm just going to build a web application. Everybody will be able to make use of that, and it's going to be available to be used. And that's what brought me into dynamic website development. WordPress development as a whole, I mean, you could build a website and it's on WordPress, but it's completely static, right? So I thought if I could build a dynamic website, then I could get this done. So I thought of a domain name. I wanted to actually go by the domain name. I found that that domain name is actually in use by someone else who actually had the same idea and met the same kind of constraints that I met. I messaged him on LinkedIn. I asked him, hey, are you willing to sell that domain to me? And he told me, you're going to have to cough up thousands of dollars for it. And I said, okay, I don't have that. So, but anyways, if it's possible for me to actually proceed with that sometime in the future, it will be my delight. It will be the very fulfillment of the reason why I entered into dynamic website development as an aspect of actually building WordPress websites, right?
Yeah,
that's it.
Building a solution for people that are in need of help but can't find it in time because there's not a easy way to find it. It's really nice to hear that you come across it in an unfortunate event, come across something like that and think, I want to solve that, and have the means to solve it, at least from a technical point of view. But then the government is holding back and there are some restrictions. Yeah.
By the way, Dave then is cracking me up in the comment section.
Because you spent 30K. Nice. Oh, and I see that your wife is even saying that you were first 2 times in the competition.
Yeah, I didn't just want to mention that, and she had to mention it.
Yeah.
Actually, the competition happens yearly, right? So I entered into the competition once, and I came first place. And then the following year, they actually ran the competition again, and I came first the second time. It was the combination of those 2 prizes that kind of like helped me get some of the things I needed to get. Or kind of like led to it. Maybe not directly, but kind of like led to it, because maybe from, getting a laptop to getting a camera to getting a teleprompter and stuff like that. All of those kind of things, just they led to one to the other until now. So it's like a chain reaction from somewhere.
Yeah. That something is telling you, Toby, you need to do this. You know you need, because the first building the website and knowing that you need to have the knowledge, right, to be able to do that, to help out the people that you unfortunately lost because of the constraints of not finding a hospital in time, and then indeed becoming a first 2 times, and then are unwilling to pay 30K for a domain name. I mean, yeah.
That's completely on Dave then.
I mean, Dave, then you're a big YouTuber as well. You can chime in.
Of course. This is when we need you.
We need to collaborate and help out where we can, right? So.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna spend 30K on that domain name. If you give me 30K, I'm gonna find better uses for that money.
Yeah, I can I can understand that as well. I mean, you can build the website yourself and have a not so favorable domain name as well,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's gonna do just as well. So I don't think business-wise it makes sense to invest that much in a domain name, at least for now, from my perspective, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Dave also thinks it's a little bit funny, I guess. But it's a lot. What a roller coaster you have had in the past until now, and
It's not that bad. It's not. Did I make it sound bad? It's not that bad.
no, yeah, well, when I live in the Netherlands, and the things that you're
Yeah.
telling is something that I literally cannot comprehend that it will be that difficult.
Oh, I
So
see.
that's why that's why it does me so much, to so to speak, because it is just not being able and to know where the hospital is something that we cannot think of. So that's why I say that's why the feeling is rough, and I really love that you are trying to solve that issue in a way, and maybe it's more heavy for an outsider that is not in that space, right? I don't know if that's true or not, but
Yeah, as I told you before we started the live stream, Nigerians are very happy people,
yeah.
and Nigerians really the happiness in Nigerians reflects in every single aspect. So in even when we face very severe economic hardship,
Hmm.
you would find a Nigerian make a meme out of it. There is one Nigerian somewhere who will make a meme out of it, and it'll crack everybody up. And it could trend. Like the problem will not trend. The meme that came as a result of that problem will trend. So yeah, it's really funny. So we kind of like we look at problems, especially when there are no immediate solutions for them, as jokes, right?
Mm-mm.
So we make fun of it, we laugh about it, but really it hurts for most Nigerians to not be able to find, or let me not say, yeah, most I should say most actually, most Nigerians to not be able to find healthcare when
Mm.
they actually do need to find healthcare. I think it's a big thing. I think it's a huge problem. I wish that one day in the future I'm able to solve this with some technological advancement, with AI and having to be able to do what I previously couldn't do because I really can't hire anyone else right now to be able to assist me with the project. But I think I can do it on my own. And if I try to take that on my own and actually in the long run do it, I'll be happy. It's going to be a really huge accomplishment. In the meantime, we strive. Right?
Strive and create videos about creating dynamic mind ears. So
Yes,
the
definitely.
Nigerian keyword everyone should know is yappa. Do you pronounce that right?
Jackpa,
Jappa.
Jackpa,
What
Jackpa.
does
I'm,
it
I'm,
mean?
I'm actually not even pronouncing it correctly. It's Jackpa, Jackpa. That's how it's pronounced. I think
Jappa.
my wife is looking right now at the video and saying, "You're not a true Nigerian, Toby. What are you doing?" It's actually I'm Yoruba, right? I'm Yoruba. But my first language is English, right? My mother
Mhm.
tongue is English. And Yoruba, the Japa in Yoruba would mean escape,
Mm.
right? Yeah. So whether you're Yoruba or you're Igbo or you're Hausa, these are three major languages and ethnicities in Nigeria. Whether you're any of these three, you understand Japa. Japa just means escape, like get
Mm.
out. And why is Dave then saying it's a hot keyword? Is because of the fact that most Nigerians are trying to get out. The most
Mm.
Nigerians
Mm.
are trying to leave Nigeria to somewhere else, find greener pastures, and when they're a bit more accomplished, they can come back to Nigeria, leaving Nigeria because the cost of living is a lot lower. But you can't find certain things that would be basic in other countries, right?
Mm. Mm.
So Dave then understands the amount of stress it took me to acquire some of the tools that were needed in order to run my YouTube channel the way I wanted to run it. He understands how much stress I had to go through just to buy I have my money, I want to buy, but I can't.
Hmm.
Right? So, stuff like that. I mean, the are we diverting? Is the purpose of the live stream still are we still on track?
It's good. This is why I love to do the live stream and talk to you about this, because it's just to getting to know you, and I love that you're sharing this. So thank you for sharing. And it's all
Sure,
good.
sure, sure.
Don't worry about the thing. I think a lot of people don't have direct access to these kinds of knowledge, right? That you're sharing right now. So I really love that. And it's very foreign, I guess, for a lot of people, even watching this live stream, that that you don't have access to what we see as basics, what we take for granted. To be fair, so it's nice to have perspective.
True, true,
Yeah.
true. But I think the internet is shrinking that somehow. Yeah.
Hmm.
And Nigerians, we're 200 million Nigerians, if not more,
Wow.
here. And that's bigger than very many countries, like really, really big. So, like the land mass is also like really huge,
Yeah. Yeah.
big. So there are various people, various Nigerians with various different circumstances. For example, what I'm saying, some Nigerians in Nigeria cannot relate,
Mm.
right? So it's not a situation that's peculiar to the entire country. It's
Mm.
peculiar to certain areas of the country. But however, there are things that are peculiar to everyone. For example, electricity. You have to, get for in where I live. I have my own power generated for myself.
Mm.
I'm generating my power using solar energy, right? But I also kind of rely halfway on the government to provide the general supplied electricity, right? But if I wanted to rely on the government electricity right now, there is actually no electricity, right?
Wow.
So I'm currently on my solar energy, solar batteries, and that would last overnight until the
Mm.
following day when the sun comes up, and then it charges again, and I keep using that every day. Sometimes when the government supplied power comes in, it supplements what I produce, what I generate in my own home. And many Nigerians are beginning to do this because in many places in Nigeria, there is no electricity supply. Some have electricity supply to an extent, but don't have internet supply.
Wow.
And so I have to both rely on using both the solar energy and also making use of satellite internet. I use Starlink, and I also make use of the internet supply produced by companies within the country. It's a messy situation.
Yeah.
However, most Nigerians who understand how to go around using the internet in general and having to generate their own electricity, they're able to work from home and have international acquaintances, work partners, stuff like that. The world is now a global village, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It's no longer limited to just one
Except
country
for
anymore.
America. Let's be fair with the tariffs.
So yeah, that's it. Dave then is saying that. Okay, I'm
Let's
not gonna read that.
yeah.
Lex, I'm gonna let you read it.
No, we're not covering that. We're not. This is too much of a touchy subject, Dave.
Okay, I'm just kidding. I use any page builder that I actually enjoy using. I
For
use Bricks majorly, and
Mhm.
sometimes Elementor. I am going to take a look at Etch, definitely. I am going to take a look at it. I am already taking a look at Etch. But at the end of the day, The page builder that wins is the kind that produces what your client wants. And I always say this to every single person in every single group that I belong. Stop listening to everyone who says this page builder is good or this page builder is bad. As far as you can make it do what your client wants and you're getting paid for it, it really doesn't matter what page builder you're using. I would use Elementor any day. I would use Bricks another day. If I feel like it, one day in the future, I'm going to use Etch. I will not be told that a professional is one who uses a particular page builder. That is not true.
No.
Professional is a person who earns from using whatever tool he uses to satisfy his client's needs.
A professional
Simple,
web
right?
developer uses VS Code, right? So no page building.
No page building is going to allow for any kind of professionalism.
Yeah, no.
If that's the lens through which we're looking at it.
Yeah. You need to use a JavaScript framework like React to be professional. You need to be able to create your own database and database queries. You need to write an API using Laravel or something else. And then you are a professional builder in the eyes of a web developer.
I don't subscribe to that at all. I don't know where the idea came from. I think Mark Zemansky very recently posted something about that. He made a video concerning that, and I totally agree. I mean, professionals or not professional is not a reflection of the tool you use alone. That cannot be the only lens through which you can look at who is professional and who is not. It cannot. It definitely isn't the only lens. Your ability to make use of whatever tool you use to accomplish whatever your client wants and actually get paid for it makes you a professional. Simple as that. I don't think it's very, very difficult to understand. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like we talked earlier, before the live stream, today I needed to work because the company that I'm working at is using Elementor as their main tool of building websites.
Okay.
Now, it doesn't matter how you produce it. If you can make the website performant enough, if it's accessible enough, if you can find things within search engine optimization or use it as a marketing tool, if all of those things align and it makes the client happy and get the results they want, it doesn't matter what tool you use. But one tool can be better for your for how you like to work. Yeah. So for me, just like I said, I created a nice section. A few sections I've created, and then I created other pages using different kind of sections. And I wanted to adjust the margins on the left and right side because the designer was like, well, this doesn't align well enough and this needs to be scooched over. So all the margins need to be adjusted. And then you figure out that Elementor is not the right tool to be able to do that in one go, because you do that on every element instead of doing it globally. Now you do have access to classes to fix that issue, but it is hidden away in the advanced tab, and then you need to scroll all the way down somewhere to put in the class that you want to add. So it was a not so fun exercise, and that's where something like Bricks or Buildarius or GreenShift or Etch comes in, and it helps you make reusable sections, right? That you don't have to do that every time again.
Very, very true. I completely agree with you on that. However, the way I think of using Elementor or whether it's Bricks is that it depends, really. I mean, there are some things that I would not attempt to do in a particular builder, but I would do in another. For example, if I know that this project is going to be big and it also is going to need a lot of constant changes, I would not attempt to do that inside of Elementor, at least for now, until the version 4 comes out, right? I would not attempt to do that, as if the project is going to be really big and it's also going to need lots of constant changes. I would not attempt to do that in Elementor. I would instead do that in a tool like Bricks, because I know I have access to classes and variables and all of that stuff that I need to get my job done. But there are some projects that maybe the client wants a single page website, right? And you know this client, in past records, this client doesn't actually, need to make changes a lot in the future. He just does his stuff, one single page, you get paid, it's done. Now, Elementor does have a full lots of template libraries and stuff like that that you can simply import and get your stuff done. Even though those are not usually built very well, but when you actually do import them, you can make changes as a professional, right? now as a professional, you make changes to it. You adjust the tags here and there. You make changes to stuff. You adjust the design. Sometimes fluid typography is important to get things done so that you don't have to set the font size on every single breakpoint. I covered a video about that in my YouTube channel. Sorry,
So watch that.
I shouldn't say that on on your live stream.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Do share. Do plug.
All right. Thanks.
What is your YouTube channel, by the way?
My name, Tobi Salami.
Tobi Salami, at Tobi Salami. So check it out if you want to see the video for Elementor. But continue.
Thanks, Lex. I appreciate that. So, if I need to do like fluid typography and stuff like that, I would do that. Then I would modify the templates, get things to work as quickly as possible, quick turnaround time, get it done out and about to go in like one day, right?
Yeah.
But when you intend to do such a thing inside of Bricks, then you have to look for a tool like you have to look for a CSS to help you manage your that's the framework that a person uses. And then you need to use something like frames, which will help you have pre-built sections. Even those pre-built sections are just wireframes, right? And you can make use of the wireframes, and you have to do a lot of editing and refining to make sure it looks on par with what you're trying to achieve. But Elementor has a library of lots of designs and stuff that you can just simply import and get your stuff done. So there are aspects, there are stuff you would do in Elementor, there's stuff you wouldn't do in Elementor. And also it would depend. I should make clear, okay, now there is power supply.
Yeah, okay.
There's power supply from
nice tune as well, by the way.
So there are people, there are projects, I should say, there are projects that would be big, and you know it's going to be big, but I still have to do it in Elementor and not Bricks, right? Because of the fact that what I see happening in the future is a string of tools that only Elementor will support, right? And I don't want to have to try to look for a web developer to write custom code sometime in the future. I know a plugin like Jet Elements, for example, would be able to do this. But I also know that Jet Elements only supports Elementor and not Bricks, right?
Yeah.
So even if that project is going to get big in the future, sometimes I still have to do it in Elementor. Because of the constraints, with tools and stuff, I don't want to have to write custom code. I know of plugins that do that. I mean, I don't want to stress my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, don't have a big enough tool set, and yeah, I really do understand. Yeah, I kind of agree with you as well. That you can have certain types. A few weeks back, I've also built a one-pager just to try to do it as fast as possible, and in 3 hours. I had a website up and running, a homepage, just a one-pager, just like you told me. With an Elementor, with Bricks, I was also looking into opportunities to do it there, but there's just a lack of pre-made templates that can be used that look good in the design as well. So there's also an opportunity there. So if you want to make money, you could make those happen. I'm trying to do that as well. I've made a few templates that make me a few €1, maybe once every 3 months. because I started with Green Shift, creating those kinds of animations and effects for the videos,
Oh, I see.
and I was selling them for people that are lazy for $1. I mean, it's not a lot of money
Right.
to be spent there, but as a YouTuber, it helps you to, for me at least, buy a coffee. But I can imagine that it can impact your life when you keep doing that. So maybe it's an idea for you, seeing that there's a constraint and that you have a girlfriend, I want to say, I mean wife, that can create nice designs, and then you can make complete templates as a Tobi Salami and what's one. I don't know how to pronounce her YouTube channel. La Ula Art.
It's pronounced
Dutch.
La Olu.
La Ulu. Okay.
Yes, it's pronounced that way. It's actually a short form for one of her names.
Mm.
So yeah, that's what she uses as her YouTube channel name.
It's not smart.
By the way, speaking of the fact that we as YouTubers have to sometimes create templates and then use those templates and offer them to our audience and have them pay maybe $1 or $2.
Yeah.
How profitable is YouTube? YouTube, if there's anyone watching that needs to start a YouTube channel.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not in the partnership program yet, so I'm still waiting to be in there. I think you can say more about that. What is your does it even bring in any sense for you at all right now?
Right now, I only have about maybe like 22 or 23 videos on my channel, I think. So, of course, you wouldn't expect. I think it's just about $10 or what.
Oh, nice.
But is that nice?
Yeah,
if you want to, if you want to relate that with how much work is put into each video, you understand YouTube, especially earning directly from the YPP, the YouTube Partner Program, is not very profitable.
No,
It's not.
no, for sure.
It's not. If a person wants to rely only on that, I don't know how the person will survive. But YouTube is not my way of making money. It's not my income stream. It's not an income stream at all, as is, right? YouTube is not an income stream at all. But it could be because of partnership that results from starting a YouTube channel, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Such as partnering with CrocoBlock right now and a number of other companies, and having to be able to earn outside of just ads or YouTube ads, right? And I think that's enough for someone who is starting a YouTube channel with no interest at all in getting paid by YouTube, right?
Yeah, just sharing knowledge. But you're partnering with CrocoBlock. Could you explain more? What are you doing together with CrocoBlock?
Okay, I actually make videos, right? And if you notice on my YouTube channel, I majorly make videos about CrocoBlock tools, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It's not because of the fact that I am their partner. It's because of the fact that I actually love their tools. Like, I love the tools a lot, right? I believe that even the team are surprised every day at how much the tools that they have created are able to produce new stuff, right? So you go to the team, sometimes you show them what you were trying to do, and they're like, what?
How?
How? They go like, this is not what we created this for. When they built a tool, you took the tool, you did something with it, and the team, they're shocked at how much it is able to accomplish. And I like that. I like that about the CrocoBlock tools, because they're just tools, right? They're not really a stack of plugins to help you to do a specific thing. And that's what I love most about it, especially Jet Engine. It's not a plugin to help you do something very specific. You can do a plethora of things
Yeah.
as long as your mind is creative enough to be able to connect dots and see, okay, how do I apply this to solve that? You can actually create things that the team didn't see coming, right? The people who are behind this don't see coming. You would see um, YouTubers. I think Mark from Wiki Design also does like really good CrocoBlock videos too, and he himself, while he does the CrocoBlock videos, would also watch other CrocoBlock videos and go like, "Oh, is that possible?" I do too. I create YouTube videos and about CrocoBlock, and then I go to watch other people's YouTube videos about CrocoBlock, and I'm like, "Wait, for example, let me give you an example. 2 days ago, I was working on something, right? And there is this tool that's not very talked about in CrocoBlock, right? It's a plugin. It's Jet Engine, but it's a module inside of Jet Engine, right? It can help you to build your layouts using HTML and CSS and make that layout itself very dynamic, right? And then instead of relying on using Elementor or using Bricks Builder or whatever kind of builder, you can just write your HTML and write your CSS, and then you can use that for your listings. So if you think about that, that brings out a ton of possibilities. I knew it was possible to use this all the while, but what I didn't know was that I could also use it to build custom elements in Elementor, right? You can imagine if I have a widget in Elementor and the widget isn't doing what I want it to do. And I think, okay, I can write my HTML and my CSS myself. I can write JavaScript too. I can actually build a component using that tool and then move it inside of, I can just find it as part of the widgets inside of Elementor,
Oh,
and then I can
nice.
drag it to the page and make use of it. But I actually coded that HTML, CSS, JS, right? And that's very nice. Plus, it can also be dynamic. So thinking about the fact that this is a possibility makes me wonder, what was I using components for? Because this is the components functionality I'm speaking about right now. I was using components for a different thing, but this is another possibility, right? And I
Nice.
didn't think about it until 2 days ago, right? So speaking of my partnership with CrocoBlock, I actually am currently, and I'm saying this for the first time on the internet.
Ooh, we got a fresh one.
I'm actually working on a full course, like a full course, a beginner course, all the way from what is WordPress, all the way to um, for a beginner to be comfortable with actually building a WordPress website, right? That's what I'm working on. I was done recording one of the lessons of that course just about roughly 30 minutes before we connected for this live stream. So I was done working on a different lesson of that particular course, and it's nice. It's amazing because while I build the course, I realize there are things to learn. I learn them and I'm happy to teach them. I'm hoping it can help a number of people when the course does go live, and it will of course be free for use for everyone, right? So that's so far as my partnership with CrocoBlock goes. Of course, including the fact that I make videos about the CrocoBlock tools, and you can find some of them too on the CrocoBlock official channel.
Yeah, I've seen a few coming together there, and it is really nice what you can do. And we see that Dave is also very excited about a CrocoBlock course, who will be awesome. Yeah, and I could even see that if you're recording something like a beginner-friendly version for people starting out for the CrocoBlock team, and then try to complement that with a own course where you dive in a little bit deeper. That will be a opportunity as well to build out even more your stacks, right? So there are already two business ideas that can help you grow even further.
I appreciate that. This looks like a very, very, I should pay you for all of the advice you've given to me today. It's
just
too valuable.
no. It's just fun to talk about these kinds of things, which you most of the time do solitary, right? So sharing that knowledge and knowing that CrocoBlock has a way of creating widgets. I'm not even I didn't know that, so it's very nice to be able to know that. And thank you for sharing that, because I guess it will help out with the constraints that I've been facing until now with using Elementor, to be fair.
Right. Plus, if you want to, you can use that to build your entire section, right?
Yeah.
Like if you think Elementor is going to be bloated and it's going to carry too many divs, for example, you can build out a section of your own choosing, right? And use that section element yourself. But the only problem with that is having to jump out of the builder to actually make changes to that widget. Also, you can't really nest it without getting out and going to copy and paste inside a different environment that particular widget. If at some point in the future they open up the possibility for you to edit right there inside of the builder, when you drag that widget inside of there, then it just, I mean, it's I don't know what to say about that. That's just going to be a breath of fresh air.
I've used Unlimited Elementor. Have you heard of that tool?
Unlimited elements?
Yeah, Elementor.
Did you say?
Yeah.
Yes, I have. Yes.
How does it compare to the CrocoBlock kind of way? Because if I remember correctly, you can make widgets with that as well, and also do that in a coding way, right?
Yeah, it's. I don't think, what I just said, right?
Yeah.
What I just said, I discovered 2 days ago.
Yeah.
I don't think it's something the CrocoBlock team actually thought about when they were trying to build out that aspect of the product. It's not like they were thinking to themselves, we want to create a solution for people to start building widgets. Their main aim, I think, and going by the name that they called it, is to create a component system. Something like what Bricks has as a Bricks components. I also created a comparison video between Jet Engine components and Bricks components, right? Now, Bricks components is a bit more granular when you are inside of the builder, but when you get out of it, Jet Engine components are way more powerful. It's not comparable, right? Like the Jet Engine components, the downside right now is what I just mentioned. You cannot really drag a widget into another component right there inside of the builder, right?
Yeah.
You would have to get out and go, create that somewhere. But now you can build components using Elementor. You can build it using Gutenberg. You can also do that using Bricks. But you can also have the ability to write your HTML and CSS, which is good, because if you write HTML and CSS, and of course you can add JavaScript inside of your HTML, you then have the opportunity to make that itself dynamic. So you can create pretty much any kind of components that comes to your mind, right? And then you can make that itself dynamic and make it rely on a query. It's pretty complicated how a simple thing such as components can open up multiple functionalities. But I like it. I like the fact that it's a possibility. Right?
Really nice to hear. And there, Mark is also saying that CrocoBlock is a very nice team to have, a very solid. And when the course is available, I think you will be sharing that on your socials and that sort of things. And see
I will be sharing it, but the CrocoBlock team will do majorly the marketing. The course will be released on the CrocoBlock official channel, and they will also do the marketing.
Nice. That's really nice. Nice to get to know you a little bit today, Toby. I see that we have hit 1 hour and almost 10 minutes. So I like to round off. Is there anything you would like to share for this for today during this live stream?
First off, this is my first live stream, right? It's my first live stream. I love the fact that you gave me the platform to actually speak here. because it takes away the fear, right? Because you're experienced at doing this. This is something you do way more often than I I would say. I wanted to say than I do, but then I realized I actually haven't done any live stream whatsoever. Okay, so yeah, I like that you gave me the opportunity, and I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I also would use the knowledge that you shared with me here. Very, I would put it to very good use, and I should sometime in the future, in the distant future, be able to do a live stream too, and hopefully we can do some collaboration sometime in the future again. Uh, I enjoyed this. I really did enjoy it.
Nice. I also love to get to know you, and thank you very much for the live stream. Brendan is saying that you are natural, so please take that take that
Thank
with
you,
you.
Brendan. Thank you, David.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. Thanks guys.
It
Jimmy, appreciate that.
Yeah, he's using his wrong handle. What happened? Oh no, he is. It's kidding choreographer, right? And not my graphic design. No, I'm kidding, Jimmy. Yeah, yeah. Like I said as well before the live stream, although the video recording and this live stream is the first time, I love that you stepped over your fear and come on live stream, show your face, and have a conversation with me. I was very curious to get to know you, and now we know a little bit more of Toby, so that's really nice. If people want to get in touch with you or see your anything of your videos or whatsoever, where can they follow you? Where can they find you?
I'm most active on Facebook and LinkedIn. However, I also have X, which is very, very dormant, but it's there. I have my Instagram, which has photos of my wife and I, majorly.
The Ghibli versions right now, right?
And the Ghibli version, of course. And then I also have my website at tobisalami.com. Goes by my name too.
So for everyone, please check Toby's channels out. Also his Facebook. Just message him and try to get him in contact. I really love that you joined today, and I wish you all the best with the YouTube channel. And let's talk again soon. I hope that you will at some day feel comfortable enough to do a live stream as well, because I think you are, just like Brendan said, a natural of doing these kinds of things. And really appreciate that you're sharing your knowledge.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on too. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. All right, everybody. That was it for today. And as always, keep designing.